city, or state in Nigeria. It is free. Download it now on all iOS and Android devices. Just type in Sevi Press. It is free. Share it now using the share button on the app menu to friends, family, and work colleagues across all social media networks, including WhatsApp, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, emails, etc. It is free. A token from the OCI Foundation International to all Nigerians who rise by lifting up.
The Digital Switchover project, which commonly referred to as DSO, which entails television channels switching from analog to digital broadcasting, is one of the biggest projects embarked upon by this administration. As free TV offers its viewers about 60 digital channels, including sports, music, movies, and news. The federal government has licensed about 23 set-top box manufacturers. 7 of them have production, employing several thousands of people. We've made it now compulsory for all stations in Nigeria to only broadcast productions made in Nigeria for products which are produced in Nigeria.
Our pastors, our imams, in every church, in every mosque, please realize that in the course of praying for peaceful and transparent elections, we all have duties beyond prayers. If we want a stable society before, during, and after the elections, should you be saying to those that worship with you, all Sundays and all Fridays, you are saddled with the responsibility of bringing up good generations. It is therefore your duty to both man and God to ensure peace all the time, no matter about elections alone. People talk to people and people listen. Talk to your followers. Make them listen to ensure peaceful 2023 elections. This message from the National Orientation Agency.
All right, you're welcome back, and it's still Good Morning Nigeria. We're live on the network service of the Nigerian Television Authority. We're here in our Abuja headquarters studios, and all our guests are still with us from Kano via Zoom, also in Lagos, and our network center here in the Abuja studios. Choma Agwebo is still with us. Choma, I raised the question about the inverse relationship between the high growth in the political industry, if you may, and the corresponding decline in economic development and citizens' welfare. I mean, we were reminded yesterday by one of our guests, Dr. Lemu, that during the Third Republic, 1992 to 1993, which was a diarchical arrangement, the lawmakers were on part-time and they received allowances for their sitting. But now you have almost permanent members, as it were, in the legislature. And everyone believes that for you to make it, you have to be in politics. Is that the true spirit of democracy? Is that a goal or end of democracy?
I think, and this is a conversation we continue to have, especially as we inch towards the elections in 2023, that Nigerians must pay particular attention to the state houses of assembly, but also to the National Assembly. I'll give a number of reasons why. The first is about 10, 12, 15 years ago, Senator Yerima married this child that I spoke about earlier. And soon after that, there was, the backlash, the outrage, etc. There was a provision of the Constitution that was supposed to be amended that would set the age of adulthood at 18. And this actually pertained to elections, but getting that would overturn, again, the age at which a girl could be married. And he pushed. There are news reports that have it that he pushed and he lobbied and he did all sorts of things for that to be overturned. Now, I believe it's UNICEF that has has statistics that says between the year that Senator Yerima married this child and I think a 4-year period, there was a spike in the incidence of child marriage. The reason why I raise this is because the actions of our legislators have consequences. People look at legislators and they take their bearing. I mentioned that earlier. But then, and So when our legislators show us that the National Assembly is a place where you go to make money, everybody wants to go there. I could sit down here and say, you know what, my 10-year plan is to enter the National Assembly, and when I enter there, that's where I go to die. We have legislators who have been there for 27 years. And you have to ask yourself, you have to ask their people, is my life better now because I have this representative? Has my life been improved in any way? My children, my spouse, my family, extended nuclear, is my life better? The answer is no. We have legislators who take breaks that within normal employment you wouldn't dare. You have people going on recess for 3 months, 4 months. They're the ones who never, whose salaries are never withheld. They're the ones who don't notice that egg is now 100 naira, one egg. I was speaking with someone who said, a few weeks ago, who said she hasn't eaten plantain in her house since February because it's not something they can afford. But our legislators who receive these fat salaries, who receive these allowances, who receive, who can fly out at a minute's notice. We now have a legislature that is almost like an old people's home. So you go into, states, you go into, state governments, you're a governor, you spend 8 years, and then it's like, what? Where do I retire? You go to the National Assembly, there are people who are there who have never said a word, who are literally useless. But you're able to get in there because you were a governor, so you have state resources. Are our lives better? So when you talk about the inverse relationship, it's true. And that's such a brilliant way to put this question, because the truth is we have more people. Everybody wants to be in politics. Why? Because Nigeria has shown Nigerians that this is where to be. If a young person steals a chicken, and I think I've said this here before, steals a chicken, steals a goat, in a 6-month period, you would have passed through the court, you'd have been sentenced to jail. Our prison system, our correctional facilities are overflowing with people who haven't even passed through the courts. But a big man or a big woman steals 100 million naira. That money procures lawyers for them to get lifetime injunctions, stopping anyone from trying them. What have you told people? What you need to do is steal more. And so everyone then wants to have access to 100 million. What's the quickest way to 100 million? Politics. Look, the Professor Arabe from Benin was talking about 4 months kids have been out of school. The Minister of State for Education wanted to run for president. What the hell do you want to do there? What do you want to do there? You want to be president, so you treat the country the way you've treated education? And I think these are the questions we must. So when people say, we have made some progress, let's be honest with ourselves. Which progress have we made? A friend of mine was stabbed in Jabi a few months ago for flying a drone. People wanted the drone. He refused to bring it down. They stabbed him. He almost died. This is Jabi. I'm not talking about hinterlands. My organization, the work that I do. My organization, we've had to stop working in some schools in some parts of Abuja because the schools have shut down for insecurity. Nigeria has one of the highest numbers of children that are not in school in the world today. But we have a National Assembly and we have political office that is so attractive. You don't have, most times when you're watching live sessions, people are asleep. We've seen people come to the National Assembly and talk about, I have this number of wives and I have this number of children and this is why I'm powerful. We're not talking about this is what we've done for citizens. We're not talking about how many people have we lifted out of poverty. Democracy is supposed to solve problems. Which problem is our democracy solving? And these are the questions we must continually ask ourselves.
Okay.
You said I was angry before. I hope that has kind of changed.
Since you're getting angry, now that's how
You're getting angry,
just cool down.
Calm down.
Calm down.
Calm down.
Let's move on. Let's go to Kano now. Earlier we said that we'll look at all these things Chioma and some other guests are talking about. It boils down to the failure of institutions, I must say. Because if institutions will be strong enough, all these things can be checked. When we look at the example of the United States, somebody just mentioned that, the case of, Trump and Joe Biden and how they go through that difficult process of trying to get the votes counted. That was the institution that really stopped Trump from moving ahead in trying to do what he wanted to do. And if institutions in Nigeria can really be that strong enough in order to check these things, we will be there and we will really get there as soon as we can. And Dr. Kabir Sophie, briefly, we are running short of time, really. How, what progress, if I may put it this way, what progress have we made in, in developing these institutions so that at the end of the day, by the time we come back here next year talking about assessment, we will say that this and this and this have been achieved?
Thank you, Nadabo. I think the problem is not with institutions, so to speak. The problem is with the people operating the institutions. All these problems Choma has mentioned exist. It's largely with the people operating the institutions. It's largely with people we send to the National Assembly, for example. She has made a very valid point of people going to the National Assembly to retire. But you look at it in paper, the National Assembly is not meant to be a retirement home. But then she said you see live sessions where people are sleeping. It's because of the nature of people we send there. Largely, I think what we have is we do not have people that go there to serve. People that come, offer themselves, but for what? Do they have a blueprint? Do they have a plan? We don't check things, and and that is at the end of the day what will negate our democratic successes. Whatever success we are seeing we must have made, all these success will be eroded by the fact that the people operating these institutions are not allowing the institutions to work. I mean, the economy is bad because who are the people operating the economy? Do we have what kind of team do we have? Who is in charge of what place? I mean, these institutions don't operate themselves. It's people that operate them. So when you look at it on paper, yes, whatever you need is there. But then those who are operating, those who are the strike we are having for 4 months. I mean, the Prof has mentioned it, and everybody here has agreed to it that the person that is in charge of education has no business contesting for presidency because he has failed in this regard. I mean, this is not because of the system, not because of the office, but largely because of the people that are operating these offices. The failure is largely because of the people operating these institutions. So no matter what we do to enhance these institutions, as long as the people operating these institutions are not ready for it, are not there to serve, we are not going to make any progress. Choma is from the digital technology area. It has been projected by 2025. 2025 is just 2 years away, that digital technology will contribute 15% to our GDP. But Dr. Akoni has mentioned problems with the Cyber Act. I mean, she has also made issues with the NIDA, and like also the panelists here, I mean, Nadabo, and you have all talked about NIDA's attempt to maybe check activities within the social media and what have you. Those issues, we need to check whether they will hinder our own road to success, whether they will stop us from getting where we are heading to. This, we can make speculations, we can make predictions, things will be better, but things will not be better as long as they are not being put in practice, as long as we are not trying to check whatever is in place. So we cannot divorce institutions to the people that are operating them. So the institutions may be there, the institutions may be strong, the framework may be there, it may be strong, but then the people operating these institutions hinder the development of those institutions.
All right. Thank you very much, Dr. Kabiru Sofi, political economist, joining us from our Kano Network Center. Another, but just before we sign off the other guests, sometimes I recognize the fact that the current challenges obviously are matters to be attended to. But if you take a historical view of things, we also have to remind ourselves that it's been under the democratic era that Nigeria has had an opportunity of participating in the growth of ICT worldwide. If you recall, before 1999, Nigeria has fewer than 400,000 telephone lines. Landlines, 400,000 telephone lines. I recall when I had to acquire a landline from Ikeja telephone exchange. The amount you paid, official amount you paid was 75,000 naira, and at that time the exchange rate was just about 85 naira to to $1. But we saw what happened in 2001 with the coming of GSM,
Yes,
and then the exponential growth that has occurred.
Yes.
All of this happening, of course, in the course of democracy. It's work in progress, as our guests have identified, and we'd like to thank them for their various perspectives. From Lagos, we were joined via Zoom by Dr. Tunde Akoni, Associate Professor of Journalism at Lagos State University. Thank you very much, Dr. Akoni. We also would like to appreciate once again Dr. Kabiru Sofi, political economist, with us from our Kano Network Center. From Benin, we're joined by Professor Eddie Eragbe of the Department of History and International Studies and Diplomacy, University of Benin, where he was also a former orator, and he was a member of the 2014 National Conference. Here in our studios, Chioma Chuka Agbegbo, Executive Director, Tech NG. He got a bit angry near the end, but of course, always a delight having her on Good Morning Nigeria. Chioma, thank you for being with us this morning.
Thank you.
All right, so that does it for our conversation segment. Let's go over to sport.
Okay, now, sir.
The Super Eagles ran riot against a helpless Sao Tome and Principe side, recording a resounding 10-0 win in their second Group A game of the 2023 AFCON qualifiers in Morocco. It is officially Nigeria's biggest win in football, and it is the second time the country will score 10 goals in a match, after thrashing Dahomey, now Benin Republic, 10-1 on 28 November 1959. The star player of the showpiece was Victor Osimhen, who scored 4 goals and provided 2 assists.
Nigeria showcasing their attacking strength here. Osimhen is in again. Osimhen for his hat-trick this time. Surely it's 8-0. Mohamed Musa playing it through for Osimhen. A terrific ball brought down by Osimhen, and a really cool finish.
Terry Murphy and Ademola Lookman opened the goals account for the Eagles, with the former banging a brace, while the latter, aside scoring a goal, also helped himself with an assist. The game saw Super Eagles coach Jose Pizarro make 4 changes, with Ademola Lookman, Seydou Sanusi, Ogenekaro Etebo, and Terry Murphy all starting. The win took the Eagles to the top of Group A, and will be in action again when they host Guinea-Bissau in September in their third fixture. In tennis, Russia's Daniil Medvedev has replaced Novak Djokovic at the top of the world rankings 2 weeks before Wimbledon, at which he will not be allowed to play. Djokovic has dropped to world number 3, with injured Alexander Zverev rising to second. It is the first time since November 2003 that none of Djokovic, Rafael Nadal, Roger Federer or Andy Murray have appeared in the top 2 ranks.
All right, that's it for us on Good Morning Nigeria today. Deep thanks for being with us. We're back tomorrow, same time, 7 in the morning. Look after yourselves. I'm Kingsley Usadolo.
And I'm Mr. Double. See you there.